again? Yeah.
Does the title come from a phrase in the book, or do you choose it at the end or at the beginning?
Right, titles. Titles, a very good question again. Does it come at the beginning of the book or at the end? Is it from a phrase in the book? Titles are quite difficult. Sometimes they will come to me, not usually right away, like Dead Man's Wharf, because I've got a body at a wharf, I thought Dead Man's Wharf, that was quite good, that came quickly. But usually not until the end. When I'm writing, I'm doing Andy Horton number 10, Art Marvik number 3 as just as working titles. And I'm wondering whether something will spring to mind. Silent Running and Dangerous Cargo are 2 titles that came very quickly. But quite often I finish the novel and I think, what on earth am I going to call this? What's the title going to be? Now with my novels, because they are all set against the backdrop of the sea, they have to have a marine element in the title. And also they have to sound like a crime novel or a puzzle. So coming up with something that's marine and mystery can be quite a challenge. So I will come up with, I'll write out, brainstorm various different ones, and then sometimes if I get stuck, I might come across 2 and I'll run past my editor and I will say, which one do you think works, which one doesn't? And then they'll come up with one. But interesting aside on that one, on Deadly Waters, which is number 2 in the series, Deadly Waters, which is number 2 in the series, that started life as Deadly Harbour. So, but because it's published in America, and harbour is spelled differently in America, my publisher said, I don't really want harbour on the cover. So it had to we changed it to Deadly Waters. Now, inside, as I said, they are published in America, but I don't have to do American spelling. So it's all English spelling in there, with one exception. And that is, in the novels, I have to use the Z instead of the S in words like authorised, realised, advertised, those sort of words. Whereas in England, the British way would be an S, the American spelling is a Z. But having said that now, so many younger people now have gone over to using Z, they probably wouldn't even notice it in a novel. So that's the only spelling. Harbour is spelled exactly the British way in the novels, and I don't have to use things like trunk instead of boot and things like that. So it is all anglicised. And the Americans have no problem with that at all because they absolutely love British crime novels. They read loads of British crime novels, I'm very, very pleased to say, and they love them. And one reviewer in America of my Andy Horton series said, it reflects true British police procedure. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. If you think it does, that's fine.
Yes, another question at the back.
Should we read these books in sequence, they're written to get the best benefit from them?
Right, should you read them in sequence to get the best benefit from them? Another very good question. Very difficult to answer. You shouldn't have to read them in sequence because each one is a standalone crime, and in each one I have to write it so that if you, for example, you might go into the library and the only one of my books they've got on the shelf, the others might be out, is Andy Horton number 8. So I can't remember in my head what that, but so you have to start with that one. So you start with that one. You should be able to pick it up and pick up like Andy's backstory, his search for his mother. So I have to write it in a way that whatever novel you discover, you've got enough of the background information to be able to pick it up, but not all of it to bore everybody silly who's read from number 1. So the answer is that you can read them as a standalone. What tends to happen is, I know from talking to people and the correspondence I get, that is if somebody has discovered my books, they've gone into the bookshop or whatever, and there's only, Suffocating Sea that they've started with number 3, or number 4, number 5, or even the latest one they've started with. If they like it, they then go back and say, I like this, but I want to start at the beginning now. So I think, it's like me when I'm finding a crime author. I don't know which one I'm going to buy, and then I can search out the early ones. So you can read them standalone, yeah.